What's up? You know what it is. It's the method. Safe space for men to heal, discuss, and grow. We're your hosts, Javier and AD. AD, floor is yours.
How you doing, everybody? Glad to be back. One thing that we have been talking about that is very important to life itself when you have mental challenges or just life as a whole is time.
Uh-huh.
Now, what we mean by time is our back's against the wall with a lot of stuff. And when we sit back and we have to ponder what our next move is, it's always about time. I always say in everything we do, it's all about numbers. Time, addresses, street, money is all about numbers. Everything's about numbers. And time is one of the most important type of numbers that you have to deal with. So for me, how time affects me is I think about some of the avenues that we have to cross to get to the goal. Case in point, things such as paying bills. We know certain things to do on a certain date.
Mhm.
Us being who we are, especially being the men of the house, the head of the house, we take on the burden of I'm going to make sure this gets done.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that gets done. Time dictates that because we don't have it done by this time, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And if we allow that to become a problem, people that are on our backs that's relying on us, then that becomes a major problem. Something simple as fixing something around the house. You got a leaky toilet. Well, the sooner you get it done, we don't have time to sit back and wait till Friday for you to fix the toilet. I don't care if you don't work 10 hours, 14 hours a day. When you come home, we need to get this done. But we don't put that same pressure on our women because we understand as men, they're just like, I prefer to do certain things instead of having my wife do this or whatever.
Yeah.
So when we talk about time, that's what we're talking about. So from your standpoint, how does time affect you on a daily basis or any part of your week or whatever?
Honestly, my entire days are like literally on the time crunch.
Right.
So like I get up at 6:30 every day. I usually hit the gym by 7:15. I leave the house at 7:15 for the gym. So I'm like bam, bam, bam. I come back home. I log on to my day job by 9. In between there, I'm taking care of the family and stuff. So it's like I say all that to say, but from 6:30 a.m. until probably 7:30 p.m. is all on the time crunch. And if I'm not getting things done appropriately, it affects my anxiety, honestly, because then I feel like let's say for my day job, I got these many things I got to get done. If I fail to do something, okay, you know what, I can take care of that tomorrow. But from a personal standpoint, I can't afford to fail, in my opinion, because like you mentioned on bills. If I know we got these bills coming up, I have to make sure money's managed appropriately to hit that deadline. And if something comes up, like I had a situation, I had a silly situation come up. Not tell you about that off the record, but a few $100 that was unexpected had to account for. So now that throws some other stuff off that I have to wear that burden because I'm not gonna bother my wife with it, because it's something that us as a man, as the provider, we're gonna wear that extra stress on our shoulders to make sure that our loved ones don't have to worry about that. But keeping it about time, I just think that like when I feel like I'm on a time crunch to get something done, it can be something as simple as like I got a towel rack in my bathroom that needs another screw. Get something as simple as getting that done, which is really just a matter of me finding a bigger screw to get it up there. Some days I just ain't got that in me. I'm tired, and it's like something that can be so minuscule, and I just don't feel like doing it.
Right.
Because like I've already given so much of myself to the day.
Right.
And half the time it's not even stuff for me; it's stuff for the family, or the job. So,
Do you feel like after you've achieved certain things based on the time crunch, that is like being on the hamster wheel? Because like once one thing is done, like it's always something else. You constantly.
nah. I honestly, you know what? From a real, I'm a different type of dude. It's like as I accomplish things, I always preach the small wins. So it's like I don't care if it's a bill collector or if it's something for the business. Like as I accomplish one task, it almost motivates me to continue for the next one.
Right.
It's those unforeseen things that throw me off my kilter because I'm a regimented person and I'm a planner. So it's like if I plan my day out accordingly, and I know I got to do this, this, and this. Those tasks don't bother me because it's also kind of keeping it on the same anxiety tip. It as long as I know what to expect in my day, I'm good. I'm not tripping on it because I've already planned on doing this.
Right.
That's also a way to protect myself.
Yeah.
I think I may have said in another cast about how there was a study that showed people with anxiety tend to watch the same movies over and over because they know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, and I do that because
Right.
I hate surprises, but if I know what I'm gonna get, I'm cool.
Mm.
It's when you throw a monkey wrench in the plan or there's something unforeseen that happens that we have to take on as a man, that's what throws me off, you know.
And I'm gonna tell you something too. Now I'm gonna kind of flip it around.
Mhm.
We look at the time standpoint. Okay, we understand certain things that have to be done. We understand the time crunch. We understand that's life.
Mhm.
We understand that this is our responsibility in a situation to fulfill these obligations.
Yeah.
Now let's flip it. When you feel like, or when people demonstrate to you that your time is not appreciated,
Mhm.
when you put in all this time, and time could be, I did the best I could to get this taken care of, to get this done. Well, how about just time of showing a level of understanding?
Mhm.
Like we show levels of understanding if something don't get done from somebody else, but it's not always shown the same in return
Uh-huh.
because the consequences are different of them not getting it done versus us not getting it done. So there are times where you sit back, you say, well, I did the best I could do.
Mhm.
We already feel bad enough that we didn't achieve what we want to achieve before this deadline that had
Mhm.
been presented in front of us. But how does it affect you when you do the best you can? Time is limited. You try to achieve the goal, but the flip side of it is, whether it's work, play, whatever the case may be, you're still being pointed at like you failed.
Honestly, I never paid that any attention. It bothers me, don't get me wrong, but one thing I've rediscovered, I'll say, is the art of not giving a damn.
Mm.
Because if I know I did my best, and excuse me, and they don't appreciate it, I work hard to not let that affect my mental or my day in that moment.
Right.
Because it's like I know I gave 100%. Even if I couldn't give 100% to that particular thing, I know I gave all I had to that day.
Right.
And if they don't appreciate it, I'm gonna let that be their problem. They be all right because I know, and I say that to not sound like a dick, but it's like I know I'll always show grace. Like
Right,
I'll always
right,
be like,
yeah.
okay, hey, you know what? If you can't get it done, don't worry about it. It'll be what it's gonna be because nothing's the end of the world, you know. But if I feel like I'm not being shown that grace, I won't flip it, and then all of a sudden, when somebody else doesn't fulfill their needs, now I'm gonna be a prick towards them because they were the one towards me. I'm not gonna let you change.
We don't get
my
off on that type of stuff, man.
I'm gonna still keep being me, but I will ignore it in the moment. And if it bothers me enough, I'm gonna talk to that individual, be like, hey, look, I don't know what that was about, but I did the best I could do today, and I honestly felt like my best wasn't appreciated.
Right.
You know, and I think communication is key in a lot of situations like that because one thing we as men, our pride affects our communication, and if we're not communicating properly, a lot of times it's pride induced because we feel like that person should know,
right,
or they should see. But a lot of times, like you drive 12 hours a day, and we were just discussing off camera the impacts or the effects of a driving job that non-drivers don't understand.
No.
So most people feel like, oh, you just drive all day, so you cool. You should be able to get off work. And,
why are you tired?
Yeah. But I drive for work, but I'm driving from destination to destination. I'm not driving nearly how you're driving.
Right.
You know, mine is more recreational. If I choose to go to these visits.
Right.
But I say all that to say, like, they don't see the stress of our day because they're not physically there with us. And on top of that, as men, we hide the stress of our day. Like, I'm frustrated as hell right now for various reasons, but I'll try to mask it, but it does seep out if the wrong thing is said to me.
Right.
Because I'm right there.
Right.
But I don't want, whether it's my wife or my kids or my employees. I got a lot of employees that report to me. You know, I don't want them to feel it, but it's still there. So
you're human.
I'm human, but a lot of times people don't want to. I feel like men are dehumanized almost. because we're almost
Yeah.
looking to be robots. You supposed to we not supposed to feel how everybody else feels.
Emotionless.
Yeah, we got to be emotionless. So I'm sorry, I went way off topic.
No,
but,
man,
you know,
you hit a couple of things, and it made me think. In regards to time and everything you just said, what I've learned in the last few months is to, I've accepted time being what it is,
mhm.
but I've also learned to alter certain things to put time in my favor.
Yeah.
If I know, like for example, just me daily out here driving, and I have certain things I need to do
Mhm.
by the end of the day while working. It's to the point now where I'm routine. I space it out.
Okay.
So it takes the same amount of time to do each task each day.
Mhm.
However many times a day I got to do it. As opposed to, man, let me fly and do this. Let me fly and do that. I just pace myself.
Uh-huh.
Even same thing when it comes like paying bills or stuff around the house. Okay, I know I got this much time. Let me do a little bit each day to make
Yeah.
sure this gets done. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because before, when I was going the alternate route, which is just sit back and just go balls to the wall, I wear myself down.
Yep.
Then what needs to get accomplished doesn't get done,
Yeah.
or it gets done in a raggedy way.
Yeah, because you putting, it's like you putting so much of you into, it's like you spreading yourself too thin to get
Right.
everything done instead of just focusing on like you said, step
Right.
by step by step.
Right.
But I mean, I can look back to even in college, like everyone's always like, like I learned this early on because everyone's like, I got to get my 4-year degree. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but something about that process, it kind of bothered me because I'm like, you spend 4 years in college. What if something happens midway through, and then so what? You spend 2 years in college and you don't get that, you have nothing to show for it. So what I did was, it took me like an extra 6 months, but I broke it up. I said, okay, you know what? I'm doing a 4-year program, but I opted in to do the 2-year program alongside it. So I knew, okay, after 2 years, I got some paper in my name. Then after the 2 years was up, I kept going. I did the 4.
Mm.
Then eventually I did my master's, and I'm looking at my PhD right now. But if I wouldn't have broken it up, I probably wouldn't have got my 4-year degree because I would have been so focused on just that big goal.
Right.
And my wife always tells me, even like present day, when I'm planning different business ventures, I think long term. Like, oh, I got to do this. Yeah, but I'm not looking at just starting it and getting it going.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like year 3 in my infancy stages.
Yeah.
So it's like when I think about schooling and stuff like that, it's kind of like, man, I'm so glad I went the route I did because I saw the little wins in between, which motivated me to keep going more, to keep going harder, keep being stronger.
Right.
But you touched on something a little bit ago about the appreciation part. One thing people don't understand about men, we not complicated people. Show me a little appreciation, I will give you the world.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If I feel appreciated for something, I'm gonna give 110%.
Yeah.
No matter what.
That's the motivating factor.
Yeah. But it's when you don't feel appreciated, that's when, like, I feel like when you're not appreciated, the topic of time, that's when it really becomes a factor because now I think sometimes we're almost rushing to get something done to get that appreciation that we're missing.
Or to not get the backlash that goes with not getting it done.
Yeah, and I honestly, I feel like
when I say backlash, I mean like just even a side eye or just man, this dude, you know what I mean? Like just, and then ain't got to be at home, just whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But I think honestly, still going back to that is the communication piece though. Mm-hmm. Like if it's in home is easiest to use because like honestly at work, if your boss a dick, Mm-hmm. But it's like, but even then, I've had conversations at work where it's like, hey, I'm not feeling appreciated for the work I'm doing, and honestly, you're putting so much on my plate. And like, oh, I'll give a work reference. Like I work for a financial for my day job as well, and I have 12 branches or now 11 that report to me, and we are supposed to do visits. Now my branches, we got 4 regions. My branches are all out north, so I got some branches that are over an hour away from me, and we're supposed to do branch visits, like a couple of weeks here and there. And I'm telling my boss, I'm like, hey, I don't have the same luxuries the other regions have because their branches are they got less branches, and they're closer in proximity. So I need a little bit of leeway because I can't do what they can do, and if I try to do what they do, I'm missing other things. And at first,
Before the time part come in.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I was very stressed about it, honestly, and it still bothers me and it's still stressful. But I think that like we had a conversation a couple weeks ago, and he had once he had said, he's like, yeah, your situation is a little more complicated than the others. It showed me that he heard me, and he was just happy that I was putting forth the best effort possible. And that right there, and we had a few months of going back and forth about it. But first, it was me not communicating, and me. First, I was like, you know what, I'll get to it when I can, which made him feel like, he had to push harder because I wasn't meeting his expectation. But then once we kind of had that talk about expectations and abilities, I think, and now it might change next month, but I think for now it's been a lot better. And then even at home, like if if we feeling like we gonna get that side eye or that backlash,
right?
I mean, sometimes you can say, "Nigga, you can't even do it,"
Right.
But I mean, that's not conducive to a healthy relationship either.
Right.
But it's just that communication, that sit down when cooler heads prevail, and be like, "Hey, look, when you had said X, Y, Z, or you gave me that look, I felt like you know what I'm saying."
Yeah.
But it's like I said, it's easier said than done, though.
It is, but we also vibe off of feelings of others, whether we like it or not. Other people's opinions, not everybody, but there are certain people that you cross. Opinions do matter in your life. Because we get ahead based on other people's opinions, whether it's your supervisor, however they feel about you determine you get a raise or promotion or whatever the case may be. However someone feels about you determines, man, dude's pretty cool, let's bring him in on this cast, let's do this, let's do that. So there are certain things in life where other people's opinions does matter, where time also comes into play, because you ain't got time to be out here acting like an asshole.
Right.
If you want certain things in life, people ain't got time to be waiting on you to figure it out. Is this what you want or not? Because this train may not come by again. And that's how we operate just as individuals, because we understand nothing's guaranteed.
No, not at all. But I want to flip it a little bit, because I know when we first discussed the topic of this week about being time, and I may have said this in a message, like when I think about time, when you first had brought it up, I thought about like time and like, okay, how much time do we have left to get something done?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, like I'll be 48 years old in less than a couple of weeks.
You old, man.
Yeah, you about to be 49, so.
Oh yeah, that's true.
but I'm like, man, I got more time behind me than I got in front of me. So it's like, I think that also plays a part in certain things where it's like you just said, we don't have time to be acting like an asshole out here. But it's almost like, okay, where am I at in life? Where do I want to get in life? And as we get older, our time gets more truncated. Then we start pressing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, I'll be 48. Okay, if I want to be a public speaker, how am I going to look at 50? Trying to start off,
right?
At this, So right. So I think those are certain stresses that kind of go unsaid, because as we get further along in life, then we got to start thinking about retirement. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's an unspoken thing when it comes to time, because most people want to do more than what they're doing present day,
right?
Or figure out, okay, you know what, if I'm busting my tail right now, and I'm beating my body up, how can I stop doing so? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we sit here talking to y'all on a podcast that we had. It was just an idea we had. We were talking, and at some point in time, we want this to get to a point where it's monetized. We want to grow the cast. We want to grow the audience. But we're saying this as two middle-aged men that may or may not have that much time left.
We don't know.
Exactly.
But that adds to the pressure.
Exactly. Yep.
Because I was telling some coworkers the other day, we was talking, we were working, and I said, what's crazy? The older you get, time's going faster.
Yeah.
And especially for me, it's more about occupation that speeds up time for me, because I'm getting up at 4:15 every morning, getting home at 5:30 every day. Boom, right back the next day. Man, it's like it was just January.
Yeah.
Now here we are in July. Now we about to hit September. You know what I'm saying? We about to hit the fall. And I just think back to how long I've been doing this job, and we going on 5 years, and it's like, man, that time just went like this, which is good and bad, because when I look at it from a time standpoint, it's like, man, certain things I could have accomplished, but time went so quick, I didn't even realize that it was going that fast. Sometimes I have conversations, I'm like, man, did I say this already? Because I can't even remember what happened yesterday.
I do that all
because
the time.
The days run together. You know what I mean? So honestly, man, that's scary.
No, I do it a lot, man.
You know, I'm talking about it, man, with people, and it's just like, man, what does tomorrow bring? None of us know. But tomorrow really is like the next 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
The way time goes. Like you said, I'll be 49 in a couple of weeks. Man, I'll be 50 next year. I'll be 55. You know what I mean? Like time is just going, and you kind of feel sometimes like you just standing still.
But see, I don't know if you said it or I saw it on a TikTok, but it's like,
I said it.
Okay. Well, no, I think you did say that.
Oh, okay. I was gonna take credit.
Yeah, I know you always take credit.
There you go.
Like I still don't see how you got was it most steals freshman year basketball?
Hey man, I was defensive extraordinaire.
You ain't never played defense a day in your life.
I played defense over there.
but anyways, it's like when we limited on time, we press.
Right.
I know what it was. Thinking doesn't improve anything. It's action. So as we know our time is limited, we got to make the most out of our time and put more action into it and less thought.
Right.
Because I think a lot of us are guilty about it. I just sat here and did it, where I'm like, man, I'm 75 years old, and I'm trying to be a public speaker. What am I going to do? No, it's like, okay, how about I just go start trying to do what I'm going to do? Because I mean, hell, we can look at remember Mike Anderson from the Denver Broncos?
Yeah.
Back? I was reading an article on him. Never knew this, but he never played high school ball. He went to the military, and he was in the Marines. He was in the Marines for 4 years and played on their team. But I think they played him at an offensive guard or something like that. Then he got out of the Marines and went to JUCO for 2 years, and they let him play running back. Then he got drafted at 27, and he was a good running back for a few years.
Yeah.
So I say that to say, a 27-year-old rookie is like a 40-year-old starting off in something, for NFL purposes. So it's like,
that's true, because you normally playing about early 30s at the latest.
So he started more than halfway through his career should have been,
right,
for the most average people. So it's like, and there's a lot of stories where, like, I don't think niggas ever seen Morgan Freeman young.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but I don't think he got his big break until over 40, like late 40s.
Right.
So it's like,
you movie critic now?
Hey man, I worked on Hollywood Video, but
that is true.
I was the movie.
I forgot about that.
Don't sleep on my skills.
I forgot about that. But, proceed.
But it's like there's just a lot of people that started off late in life, and I think that we as regular people, as we're finding our niche, finding our passion, I think sometimes we are our own harshest critics, because we look at the time that's passed and not what we can do with the time that's ahead of us.
Isn't that okay though? In order for us to get to where we want to be. Now, this is based on just what we want, not because of someone putting the pressure on it. Like when you talk about being certain, that's why I said, so when you bring it from that standpoint, that's okay, because that's us pushing ourselves.
Yeah, 100%.
Versus someone pushing us against the deadline.
Yeah.
Or something pushing us against the deadline. That's where the problem lies. That's when, from a mental health aspect, I sit back and when I put it all together and I say, man, like I think me and you had a conversation. I don't know if it was on camera, off camera, whatever case may be. We talk about marriage, vow renewals, things like that. There's like certain things that hadn't been done.
Yeah.
That want to get accomplished. And when I look back, really, I laugh and joke about, but really it kind of saddens me that I haven't done certain things yet that I explained to you that hadn't been done for over 22 years now. You see what I'm saying? Which I take full accountability, because I could easily, man, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I should have put the pressure on my own back time-wise and said, man, let's make this happen. I didn't. Now, I don't have any guilt about it. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I even lose sleep, at night But when I sit back and think about, that's a time where I could have used that to my advantage to make all parties involved happy. Not to say there's unhappiness, because there is none on neither side of the camp. But it would have made me, once again, as a man, that's where you step in and say, you know what, let me go and make this happen. So sometimes we put pressures on ourselves because we're really trying to please in a lot of different areas, man. But sometimes we got to take the time that's in front of us and just narrow it down and prioritize what needs to get done, what don't need to get. Sometimes things just not gonna get done. That's okay.
Oh yeah,
that's okay with not getting stuff done. But if we put certain things on the docket.
Well, hold on. Let me stop you real quick.
Go ahead.
This for the men that actually are the head of the household and provide. Because you got a lot of dudes that's gonna sit at home, play the game, and they don't work and they gonna smoke a fifth.
Right.
You know, like or drink a fifth and smoke.
I'm about to say smoke a fifth.
Yeah. Look, well, I don't smoke.
Yak, you know what I'm saying?
They're gonna smoke some reefer. But you know,
bigger than zigzags.
Yeah, but it's a lot of men out there that, and this might even flip and go in a different direction. But a lot of men expect to be leaders because they simply are men.
Right.
That ain't the case. You got to really be able to take on this pressure we talking about and really step up and make the hard decisions and wear the burden of the family. You know, these are the people we talking to. You know, the people that's living off their girls. I ain't got no love for you. I can't respect it.
You ain't no real man if you can't hold your own, or if you've never held your own. Now listen, things happen. But when you got the opportunity to be the best version of yourself, but you still trying to straddle the fence, things like that, man, we ain't talking to y'all.
Nah.
We talking to the ones that's trying to make it, because guess what? We've had failures.
A lot of them.
And
that's what got us in these seats.
There you go. We won't be sitting right here if we didn't have failures. On top of the fact, people that we interacted with have had failures, older people our age. So that helps us because we communicate with each other. We have these conversations. We boost each other up. We don't sit back and pile on. We don't allow others to pile on. So what we try to do is, as individuals, like I can honestly say, we talking about time. We talking about head of household, just being a man. Since I've been doing this cast, we've done 5-6 episodes, right? Since I've been doing this cast, I'm a much better man than I was when this thing first started. And I was thinking about that early on. Not to veer off topic, but it's kind of the same topic. My demeanor, the way I think, the way I process things, I'm a much calmer man.
That's what's up.
I'm a much laid back kind of guy. I mentioned before in previous casts that I need to work on gray area.
Yeah.
And eliminating gray area. I've been working tremendously on that.
Okay.
Having these type of conversations have really helped with that. And then on top of the fact, when we have these conversations, not only amongst each other, but we talk about other people. I mean, we talk to other people, and then they have conversations with us about what they heard from the cast, or like, you know, this is how I feel about this. And it's never finger pointing or no, you were wrong. Everybody got different perspectives. So we listen to what everybody has to say. We compartmentalize it. We put it in our minds, and then we move on, because what helps us progress is the fact that we know we're not in this by ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. I look forward to this so much. Every Sunday is carved out for me to come. That's when we record these here at the studio. It's just to come, do what we got to do, because this is so therapeutic. I've learned so much, even from my brother right here, you know, and it's not like I didn't know who this man was, but we've had these conversations before, not in bulk like this.
Yeah.
It'll be here and there, every now and then. It's okay to have a conversation. And the reason why we're able to communicate with each other and communicate now is because, once again, like I said, very first cast, this is a no judgment zone. We've had that between ourselves from day one since 1992. So, you know, I just want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate all y'all. And we're going to keep this thing going, hands down. But one thing I do know for sure, to get back to the topic, time stops for no one. And if you feel like time is kind of hindering you from certain things, manipulate the time so you can benefit from it. because we don't need any type of flaws going on here, man, because it's not easy. It's not easy, but we do the best we can and live with the results. That's all we can do. It's difficult to live with the results if you know you ain't tried. And don't be afraid of failure. But when you try and you finally accomplish, you feel like you done moved the mountain. That's my take on it, man.
No, I like that, and I appreciate everything you said, honestly, because you touched on something a few, like probably about 30 minutes ago, pacing yourself.
Right.
So a lot of times, and I want to dive back in there just real briefly.
Sure.
But like pacing yourself is very, very key, because ultimately, if we don't pace ourselves properly, that's when it happens that we start, the burnout comes, or the
Right.
or the resentment comes, because now we're looking at the situation to say, okay, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that,
Right.
and nobody's seeing my effort.
Right.
But in our reality, we might be overworking ourselves.
Yeah.
So if you slow it down a little bit and understand that, okay, you know what, I'm 48, I can't do what I did at 28.
Right.
I need to sit down, because if I don't sit down, guess what's going to happen? I'm gonna get that resentment. I'm gonna get that low key anger that I think I'm hiding. Then I start spewing it out. It starts spilling out because I didn't take care of myself.
Right.
You know.
And it's okay to get that, not to cut you off, but it's okay to also get that reminder from someone that's in your same shoes. Yeah. Like when we sit back and talk, and we talk about certain things that are intimate or whatever, it's okay to sit back and encourage.
Got to.
It's okay to sit back and be like, hey man, don't worry about it. That's okay. Let alone it's okay to reach out.
But let me challenge you on that though. How many men have circles of positive men? Because you know the people that we came up with. I probably got two living people right now, you being one of them, that I can call, and I'm gonna get good advice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what it's about. I'm gonna get good advice, because y'all looking at me as the man I'm becoming, not the man I was.
Right.
So a lot of men just don't have that outlet.
Right. But here's the flip side of it too, though. You 100% right. A lot of people don't even know that they got that because no one has ever reached out.
That's true. And then, and that's crazy, because I said this a couple podcasts ago. I might have been telling my wife this. I might even told you, when I was talking to a buddy of mine that I knew went through it years ago.
Right.
And people was calling me because they knew me and him were close. He moved away. So I knew he was going through it,
right.
Health-wise, relationship-wise, financial.
Right.
I never reached out to bro.
Mm-hmm.
He never reached out. He never, it was like he isolated himself, which is a very, very negative thing to do, but it's common. We've both done it.
Right.
He isolated himself, and then when he got back right, he reappeared. So when I was talking to him, I apologized to him, and he was like, "Nah, bro." He's like, nobody reached out, but I never looked at it like that.
Right.
Because that's just how we are as men. We just take on so much ourselves.
Right.
And we're almost reluctantly okay with nobody checking on us.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel bad now. I'm in this space, and I'm being more vulnerable per se. Mm-hmm. And it's like it bothers me that somebody that I considered a friend, that me and him we kicked it a lot. I listened to everything that was going on about him, but I didn't even have the balls to reach out to this man and say, "Hey, bro, how you doing?"
Well, a lot of it too is because we've had situations in our lives where we didn't want to show vulnerability towards others or around others, shall I say. Even though we may have, me and you had conversations, I want to say probably about 15, 20 years ago. And we both said then, like, man, people don't even know that we talk on this level.
Yeah.
Because the perception that you had for yourself outside of the way we talk was just what it was. You know what I mean? Closed off, arrogant guy, this. Yeah. But a lot of stuff meant nothing to me because I knew who you were.
Yeah. But you took time to learn who I was.
Right. But even people took time, how many people you really gonna let in?
No. That wasn't nobody getting in.
And that's the whole point. And nothing wrong with that, because we were protecting ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's why I say a lot of times people don't even know what they got around them to even say, dude's all right, let me reach out. Man, I got people, man, I talk to now that I work with, or even former co-workers of mine that I talk to, and people will be surprised that we communicate. I had a guy that called me yesterday. I want to get him watching the cast too. He's a former co-worker of mine, man, and he just kind of broke down some things that was going on and stuff like that. But I felt honored he even gave me a call.
Right.
He's like, I'm sorry to bother you on Saturday, blah, blah, blah. But because I've allowed myself to be approachable, when before, I kind of stood in the corner like a pit bull foaming at the mouth, like, back up.
Yeah, you were very you had your small circle,
Right.
and wasn't no penetrating that.
Wasn't none.
It was only an exit. It wasn't no entry.
That was it. But once I started having to have people exit the circle,
yeah,
then I started, kind of looking at everything around me and say, okay, you know what? There are better people around me. I just need to go ahead and have these conversations with them, and then we help each other become better.
But you know what I think that changed?
Well,
when you left Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I think when you left Elite, you became more open to.
I was introverted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's when I noticed the change.
Yeah.
So my bad.
Yeah. So, but we go through certain things, man, and it helps us become who we are. Certain experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, we're nothing. You get what I'm saying?
100%.
And it don't have to necessarily be bad or good. It's just something that we may have experienced or seen someone experience.
Yeah.
To put a bow on it, like I was having a conversation the other day with my cousin Larry, man, and we just talking about how the generations have changed, the influences have changed. He was saying like people who play this GTA nonsense, man, they think that's the blueprint for committing crimes.
Yeah.
And this is why they're sitting in jail right now, because they're too gullible to even say, hey, this is just a game. He's like, man, I've came across people in the joint, man, that said, oh, well, this is what they did on there, man. Next time I just got to do it like this, based on the video game. That's what a lot of people are thinking right now, because these youngins don't think for themselves. Because we just speaking not in general. I mean, in general, not as everybody.
Right.
But when you have that type of mindset, I'm very thankful that I don't have that mindset, never did. And I always said what got me to where I am today was the fellas I had with me back in the day that said, hey man, we ain't about to keep picking you up, taking you to eat. You choose not to work. You choose not to do this. They held me accountable, and I never got mad about it because I knew y'all was right. It was disappointing. It hurt because I knew I did it to myself.
Yeah. It's the self-indulgence.
But I had to go through that to get to where I am today. That's where the appreciation comes. So I can't never look back. So when people sit back and have these trials and tribulations, man, I've been there before.
Oh, yeah.
But it took a good support system to get me through certain things.
Well, real quick before we wrap up, I was on the phone the other day, and it was after you talked to our mutual friend, and he had made a comment. Basically, he asked me, "What did I think he would be when we were younger?" And I told him, I said, "I thought you would be a dope boy. I thought exactly what you became." And he was like, "I wanted to be a cop." And we were talking. We talked for a while, but long story short, he said, I don't even understand. He's like, I'm honestly ashamed of myself for going into that lifestyle because y'all raised me, speaking to me and you. And then he brought up the guy, Ron, the big teeth. What's his name, Ron?
Ray.
No, not the cop guy.
Ron, yeah.
It was Ron, okay.
Yeah.
He had the brother.
Shane.
Yeah, with the glasses.
Yeah.
But he was like, he was like, I was actually in the same program that he was, just for younger kids.
Right.
He was like, I really want to be a cop, but I don't understand what got me going down that path. When I'm looking at y'all, who y'all don't drink, y'all don't smoke, y'all hoop and y'all kick it.
Right.
And he was like, that's what I wanted to be. So like when we were talking, he was giving us our praise for like trying to get him down the right path.
Right.
But he just saw something different. And now as he's going, he's in his 40s now, and as he goes to that next level, he learned from his trials and tribulations as he's trying to right his shit.
Yeah.
But he said, he was like, honestly, if I would have listened to the guys I had in my circle,
right,
and not the people I let into my circle,
right,
I'd be a whole different dude.
But a lot of time, man, to put the raps on it, man, that's easier said than done, because influence is way tougher on the individual than what most people give it credit for. And a lot of times when it comes to influence, like me being introverted basically my whole life until I became grown, I got lucky. I don't even want to say luck. I'm just saying that the terminology because I know it's pretty much divine intervention that I came across guys like y'all that were like me. Yeah. And we kind of grew together. Yeah. But without that, growing up, having very low self-esteem all the way until I got to my 20s, people probably didn't know it then, but I kind of did what I did in spite of. But a lot of times it was so easy to go by the wayside, but I had people to pick me up. And a lot of times you don't have that, people to pick you up. Right. It can be an issue. That's why it's so important that we all chime in and give opinions, comments, concerns, whatever, man, because we want to not necessarily help, but we want to be a part of having a conversation to get to the solution. Or, you know, like I said, for me, how it's been therapeutic, things like that. And hopefully it'll be the same thing for y'all. And that's all we want. And we try to bring you guys content every single week as much as we can, because when it's all said and done, we all we got. And it's not a dogging anybody else. We're going to talk about what we know.
Mm-hmm.
So when you guys communicate with us, you guys leave comments or whatever, you know, that means a lot to us, because we're just two guys having a conversation, you know, so we appreciate your support. We appreciate all you do, and keep your head up. Oh, by the way, and we said before we wrap this up, we always want to end on a good note. So
Yeah.
what was the positive thing for you, you know, that happened? I mean, we ain't wrapped in 2 weeks, so I mean, either you can go, I can go. I mean, however you want to do it.
You know what? I'm gonna say honestly, a couple positive things has been going on. Has been the growth of our business.
Right.
Now we're inside of my wife and I's business, Timeless Moments, and we've had a couple people that allowed us to marry them.
Yeah.
Actually, we just married a couple at $4.15 a day.
Yeah.
So honestly, with us starting a new business and it took off the way it has been, we couldn't ask for more, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's
a very big deal, because that's a step in the right direction, multiple steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
And for me, I think I touched on it earlier, you know, just the fact of my mindset has been in a much better place. Things have happened where I didn't lose my cool. And I've learned with me not losing my cool, I've taught myself I have control. So me having control,
mm-hmm.
my confidence has risen.
Yeah.
Because I'm not allowing certain things to push me in a certain direction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm controlling the narrative, you know. So I go home with a smile on my face. I wake up with a smile on my face.
That's what's up.
When I'm out there working, you know, I got a smile on my face, because the things that occur now are just trial and tribulation, minor issues, nothing major. I don't let something minor that happens turn into a major situation.
That's key.
So for me, that's been a huge plus, you know.
That's what's up.
And that starts with this right here.
Well, everybody, that's the method. See y'all next week. I'm paused, so I won't be like trying to get up and